In 1995, Bernie Sanders was arguing with this guy, a senator maybe? He defends gay soldiers from a homophobic congressman. Listen to how it went.
Is there any shocking doubt? The same people that would vote to cut defense $177 billion, the same ones that would put homes in the military.
These people have always been vile. They have always been vile.
The same ones that would not fund BRAC, the same ones that would not clear up. No, I will not. Sit down, you socialist.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You know, in my opinion, the 90s are when things really started going downhill because Reagan passed this. He basically erased the fairness doctrine, which at the time it said if you give press coverage to one political candidate, you have to give an equal amount of press coverage to the person's opponent. And it basically forced the media to be objective. This is for like TV, I believe, specifically. And Reagan undid that, which led to Fox News in its earliest days zeroing in on this extremist rhetoric, like becoming state media, becoming party media, and getting absolutely psychotic. It led to the radicalization of so many people. And for the record, what the dude said here just now, sit down, you socialist or whatever, what does he think a socialist is, I wonder? Do you think he knows what a socialist is? I doubt it. Republicans use the term socialist synonymously with communism. They're the same word in their mind, when they're completely different concepts. Though Hitler was not a socialist, he took over the political party, the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, I believe, NSDAP, the National Socialists. He took that party over and demonized communists like nobody's business. Two things he hated more than anything: communists and Jews. Fucking hated them. So, you know, in Germany, they recognized, like everybody everywhere recognizes the difference between socialists and communists, except for here in the United States, apparently.
You.
The committee will.
The ludicrousy of this, even
The
to
committee
appeal
will be in order,
this.
and the gentleman will suspend.
The lunacy of this. The
Gentleman may
EPA
proceed.
and other organizations have continually stated you take the shore-based and the surface-based have less problems than any of your public bases. Less than all of them put together. I've operated off these carriers. I've operated out of these. You want to take a Geiger counter? Go ahead. I scuba dive underneath the docks. I'm not going to.
Wow, you're so cool. You hear this guy?
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
He's so cool. You know, usually I don't know how to tell if somebody is cool unless they have a really loud car engine or like a motorcycle engine. I can tell they're cool then when they drive by and they rev the engine, because only cool people do that, of course. But here's another good way to tell. By talking about your military service, you're so cool. And it's like so obvious to everybody that you're really, really cool when you talk about that stuff.
Do that if it's polluting. And the same people that would control with big government the rules and the regulations and try and diminish national security, look at them. Just look at them right here. And the same
Well, the
people, the
gentleman
team
yields.
never changes. And you want to put these burdens, and the problem is that you fail to see the solutions to very simple problems.
And I guess that the solution that he believes that we should be using is to ban gay people from the military. Is that right?
You state your own opinion as fact when it is not. There are
Listen to this dude. You state your own opinion as fact when it's not. You've got to love the hypocrisy of these fucking people, right?
studies and studies and studies that show that there is no discharge, that is not regulated, but yet you would cost the American taxpayers and lay on rules and regulations and have bigger government, more facilities, more control over the regulatory factors, and that's wrong. And I thank you, Mr.
Would the
Chairman.
gentleman yield?
Mr. Chairman.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman. Do we have to call
what
the
purpose-
gentleman
for
a
what-
gentleman if he's not one?
Do we have to call the gentleman a gentleman if he's not one? That's good.
Committee will be in order.
Chairman?
The gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized. And the gentleman from Vermont is recognized.
The gentleman
For what
from
purpose?
California, is he still here or did he disappear?
For what purpose does the gentleman from Vermont rise?
Rise to speak in support of the amendment.
The gentleman from Vermont.
I wonder if I
the
could
gen-
question the gentleman from California.
The
I am
gentleman,
rising in support of the amendment.
the chair is in charge. The chair is speaking. The gentleman from Vermont has been recognized for a period of 5 minutes. And
Oh my God, dude. What a. He really just give Bernie Sanders all that shit because he didn't give an opportunity to say that he can speak? Come on, man. People are so, like, sensitive and easily bent out of shape on the Republican side. Like, what the they call the left snowflakes? Please.
you may now proceed.
I thank the chairman very much. Would like the opportunity if the gentleman from California would respond. Just to ask him a brief question, if I might. Now, my ears may have been playing a trick on me, but I thought I heard the gentleman a moment ago say something, quote unquote, about homos in the military. Was I right in hearing that expression?
I think at this time there was a big debate about whether gay people should be allowed in the military, and Bill Clinton, who I think was the president at this moment, passed a "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" bill. I could be wrong, but it's basically like if the military finds out that you're gay, then you lose literally everything. And so there's basically, if you're gay, don't talk about it. Is the bottom line, and that worked for some people. But you know, if they found out that you were gay, then you would be like, it would be bad. It would be really bad. So not ideal. And I think that they repealed the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" rule a while back, and then they like instituted it again, and I don't remember.
Say something, quote unquote, about homos in the military. Was I right in hearing that expression?
Absolutely. Putting homosexuals in the military.
You said something about homos in the military.
Pretending he doesn't realize that that's a slur, right? Or that at the very least, it was being used as a slur by him. Pretending that he's now just using it in an academic way.
Is the gentleman referring to the many thousands and thousands of gay people who have put their lives on the line in countless wars defending this country? Was that the group of people that the gentleman was referring to?
I'm talking about the military. People in the military do not support.
That's not
the
what we
current
were
bill.
talking about. You used the word homos in the military. You have insulted thousands of men and women who have put their
I'm
lives on the
talking
line.
about
I
you
think that they
and
are
liberals
owed
like you
apology.
that keep the foreign defense.
Gentlemen,
Reclaiming my time.
What a colossal sack of shit, right? Like really, really disgusting shit. And to make things worse, this is around the same era. So that was 1995. This is 2001. This is immediately after the 9/11 attacks, like 2 days later or something. Jerry Falwell, Sr., creator of Liberty University, comes out here and blames gay people for the 9/11 attacks.
This is the first time that we've been attacked on our soil. First time, and by far, the worst results. And I fear, as Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense, said yesterday, that this is only the beginning, and with biological warfare available to these monsters, the Husseins, the Bin Ladens, the Arafats, what we saw on Tuesday, as terrible as it is, could be minuscule if in fact God continues to lift the curtain and allow the enemies of America to give us probably what we deserve.
So he's saying that, well, I guess being gay drove God to punish America by lifting the veil of protection. That is like mental gymnastics to a level that I don't think I've seen in a very long time.
Well, Jerry, that's my feeling. I think we've just seen the antechamber to terror. We haven't even begun to see what they can do to the major population. I mean,
the ACLU's got to take a lot of blame for this.
The ACLU, the fucking ACLU, should take blame for 9/11. What are you smoking?
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'll hear from them for this, but
oh my God, he's just an innocent guy, and he's being persecuted by the evil ACLU. What broke in your brain, you disgusting piece of...
throwing God, or successfully with the help of the federal court system, throwing God out of the public square,
That's not what happened.
out of the public square, out of the schools.
That didn't happen. God is more than welcome in the schools if the students want God in the schools. The difference is now you can't force God on students. You cannot force them to worship the way that you want them to worship by imposing prayer on them, whether they want that or not. And he knows that. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He knows he's lying, in my personal opinion. You cannot convince me that he doesn't know that what he's saying is complete bullshit. Just a vile human being, truthfully. Like, the 90s saw a massive rise in the most disgusting human beings alive coming out and being, like, open about who they are.
The abortionists have got to bear some burden for this because God will not be mocked, and when we destroy 40 million little innocent babies.
A, where the f*** did you get that number from? And B, that's not what's happening. That was never what was happening. Abortion is not destroying innocent little babies. It's literally destroying, like, cells, invisible to the naked eye. It's so small. You know, this whole abortion, anti-abortion thing was not originally a Christian position to be anti-abortion. It wasn't until it became obvious that it was a useful propaganda tool that it was picked up by Christian extremists. It's just vile, man. Just fucking disgusting.
We make God mad. I really believe that the pagans and the abortionists and the feminists and the gays and the lesbians who are actively trying to make that an alternative lifestyle, the ACLU, People for the American Way, all of them who tried to secularize America, I point the finger in their face and say, you helped this happen.
Well, I totally concur.
That is vile, dude. That is absolutely fucking vile. Disgusting. These people are just like, there's something wrong with you to be willing to say the shit that these people say, to do the things that they do, to support the causes they support. Like, I don't even, look, you want to be pro-life? Okay, I get it, I suppose. Whatever, you can be. I'm not, but all right. But to use the tactics that these people use is just disgusting, dude. Like, manipulating people shamelessly. The things that they say to them and the things that they do, and it's just fucking, how do you not want to, like, take a shower after saying and doing some of the things that you say and do? Honestly, it's not even about, like, the beliefs for me necessarily. It's about the tactics. Like, Trump supporters, for example, being willing to or even encouraging political violence and saying that they need to, like, kill people on the left and stuff. I don't care who you are or what you believe. That is not acceptable. Like, what the fuck? And, you know, and it's like there's a deep hypocrisy that runs through the whole thing too. I don't know if you guys were around for this, but years and years ago, there was this whole debate about whether you should throw a milkshake at a Nazi. You know, like, full-blown Nazi, you know, Hitler-loving, Sieg-heiling, mustache-wearing Nazi, right? Is it okay to throw milkshakes at them because somebody had a milkshake thrown at them? Richard Spencer, maybe, I don't even remember now. And all of these Nazis come out of the woodwork and they're like, this is disgusting. We live in a civilized society. You cannot throw milkshakes at people. How would you like it if that happened to you, and all this other shit? And it's like, these people, these Nazis, literally 5 fucking minutes ago, argued that black people should be exterminated to protect the white race. And you are crying to me about a milkshake. It couldn't possibly be more obvious that they're completely full of shit, that they never gave a shit about the milkshakes. They're using this cynically. The point is, these people are dirty and dishonest and, like, have no scruples. They have no concerns about moral lines that they can or can't cross. They're willing to cross literally any moral line. When I say they, I'm talking Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson, Nazis like Richard Spencer, and others. There is no moral line these people are not willing to blur to accomplish their goals. And I don't give a shit which side you're on, who you support, or whatever. That is vile fucking behavior. I will never be a Republican, no matter what, ever, period. Because every Republican that I ever come across is like this. They're willing to step on people's faces and lie and manipulate and cheat to get what they want. And if they aren't willing to do those things, they're not Republicans. Like my brother, he's not willing to do that shit. He calls himself a conservative on the economy and a liberal on social issues. He doesn't call himself a Republican because he sees how fucking vile they are too. If you call yourself a Republican, this is kind of part of your ideology. And we have Ronald Reagan to thank for erasing the Fairness Doctrine and radicalizing a whole generation of people with Fox News. At the time when the whole milkshake thing was going on, somebody's like, what if the milkshake has like cement in it? Like they put cement in the, quick dry cement in these milkshakes and throw them at people. And like, I was saying to myself, you are just like fabricating this fictitious situation and pretending that it happened to you. What the fuck is going on? Why are you even talking about this? Has this literally happened to anybody? And they're like, well, no, but it could. But did it? No. Around that time, there was also this whole debate about whether you should punch Nazis. Like Richard Spencer got punched in the face, I think, or something like that forever ago. And everybody was like, oh, you shouldn't punch Nazis. You know, no punching people. Punching people's wrong and everything. And like, I had my feelings about it at the time, which was you shouldn't be punching people. That was my take on it. But I got to be honest with you, after everything that we've experienced, I'm going to reanalyze my whole viewpoint on things, because there's a point at which I think it becomes self-defense, even when you're not in a life-threatening situation at that immediate moment. I don't know. Tell me what you think about it.